places where you've had your symptoms, especially where they've started or where they were the most severe, they hold a lot. They hold a lot of emotions, the fear, the sadness, the anger, all the memories of that. And for me, trauma. I want to share my experience with you of revisiting those places and processing those emotions and feelings. And I'm happy to say that those places are now places that I don't have any symptoms, and they don't hold those difficult memories and feelings anymore. I hope by the end of this video that you're inspired to go and revisit some of those places. I know they suck, but it's really gonna help you with your recovery, and it's just gonna help you with your life in moving on and getting past what happened to you. All right, you guys know that my resources are limited because everything is packed or already in Florida, but hot off the press, we just packed the printer, but I got this out before we did so. And ooh, it's windy today, and I think that the tripod is gonna shake. And I literally had my tripod, which is not a good tripod, my other one's better, on top of a trash can that I pulled out of a moving box that I hadn't sealed yet. So forgive me, but we had to do it today. The mover's coming tomorrow, so this is the last opportunity, and this is so important that I needed to get it done. And that's a real theme of this video, is taking that opportunity. You don't have to move to Florida to do it. Take the opportunity to go back to those difficult places, process those emotions, experience those places without symptoms or fewer symptoms, or even like 0.5% less of symptoms. That is just so going to benefit you in your recovery and your overall healthy state of mind. First, the place where I had my onset of symptoms, and then a couple places where I had my most severe symptoms. I have changed the meaning of these places. Now they are where I have had some of my best moments in recovery. I can be in these places and not just feel all the trauma and the pain, both mentally and physically. I can be there and I'm not triggered to have any symptoms. I can be there and actually have good memories and feelings. I hope by sharing these moments with all the emotions, like I go in between like sadness, anger, gratitude, all the things, there's all the tears, there's all the snot, I'm sorry, that it will encourage you to do the same, because this has been a huge part of my recovery. Before we get into some of that embarrassing, although powerful footage, let's start with the first place where it all happened. Because my onset of my severe TMS symptoms literally happened in an instant, right in my neighborhood, that place for me is a place that I see every single day, multiple times a day. There's only one way in and one way out of my neighborhood. So if I'm driving by or walking by or running by, I have to pass it if I just want to leave my house. And if I'm walking or running, I step in the same place where it all happened. And every time I pass by it, I am reminded of that moment. That moment on April 19th, 2024 at about 5 p.m. when I was walking my dog, when all of a sudden I couldn't walk anymore. I know a lot of you have that place where you've had that ouch moment or oh my God moment where a pain or symptom started that you will never forget, like me. And mine? Well, right here, where my TMS symptoms started, literally marked with a trail sign. This says trail. And though I'm sure I would absolutely never forget like that little stretch of sidewalk, like this makes it glaringly obvious every day, like sticks up out of the ground, being like, remember me? Let's turn around. Yep, right there, that stretch of sidewalk. Right there, my foot just stopped working and I started to have extreme pain. And that was just the beginning of all the symptoms and the diagnosis that came after. My dog came over to pee on the trail sign, as all dogs do, and I'm probably sitting in dog pee right now, but I don't care. This is processing your trauma, baby. This is what I need to do to move on with my life. And while I stood there waiting for him to take his sweet time, because he always just had to like do it perfectly, the terror of what just happened set in. But I won't be seeing this place anymore. I'm for sure not going to leave here without making sure I spend all the time at this spot that I need to. I hate this place. Like, this is where the most traumatizing event of my life happened. But I also love this place. I know, messed up, right? This is what the work does. I've learned to love it and appreciate it. I know it sounds insane, but it represents when I was at the lowest time of my life and how far I have come to have an even better life before TMS ever even happened. I've returned again and again to this spot to cry, to rage, to talk to my dog and doggy heaven and celebrate. Because this same spot is where I have had tons of progress. Even just last month, I ran my fastest half marathon of my life. Like, not since having TMS, but like my fastest half marathon of my life. And so like I went off in that direction and found all those 13 miles in my town. And I knew I had to like circle back into the neighborhood because I was like almost there and done, and I didn't want to have to do any more than the half marathon. And I literally finished directly in front of this trail sign. Like, if there was a line that went across the sidewalk, like that would be like a finish line, like for the 13.1, like exactly where I developed my symptoms. It was totally crazy. Like, I didn't even mean to. Like, I filmed myself in the moment, and I shared that video on my old Running with Dystonia channel. And it was almost like a religious moment for me. Like, there's some power that be that like literally was like, you are gonna finish your fastest half marathon ever. Like, right here, like right where you developed your symptoms, right where your life changed forever, right where you thought that you were gonna be a disabled person at 42 years old. You came back from that, and you came back better. Oh, it still gives me chills. Oh my God, I don't know. I don't know. It was like, I don't know. It was, I don't know. Sometimes there's some crazy meanings and things. Like, my trauma was absolutely replaced with that success. It was incredible. So yeah, I am gonna miss you, trail sign. Are you still there? Great. Thank you for letting me share my story. It is a part of the processing, and I could go on and on and on and on, but for your sake, let's get back to sharing the rest of my experiences so that I can help you. It's probably a more common experience to have those places that are like always the triggering places for your symptoms, like the places that always cause the bad symptoms, no matter what, without fail. It can be driving the car, going to work, the grocery store, sitting on a particular chair, your bed. Like, Kroger is like the knee pain capital of the world. Like, Kroger, knee pain. Strong association. And the car too. But no longer. So here we go. I am going to share with you me revisiting some places and going through my feelings, emotions, and processing the trauma. It's gonna be embarrassing, and there's gonna be a lot of tears, and you're gonna maybe see some angry expressions on my face, and you're gonna see a lot of gratitude. And I'm sharing it, even though, like, I don't know, it's kind of weird for me to be like doing this on the internet, but like, I truly believe that it helps. Like, it helps me for sure, so it's gotta help other people. I am taking one for the team and showing you what it actually looks like. So please, can you find me a tissue box? I'll see you back here in a bit. 7 days until I move to Florida, or at least start the drive to move to Florida, and I had to come back. I had to come back at least one more time. I don't know if I'll make it again. This was like where my safe place was, and relearning how to run. Because it's dirt, and I don't know, if you fall, it's not gonna hurt as much as pavement, and it was quiet, and there weren't people around, and I could just do my thing and not be embarrassed and just focus on getting better. But that was all before I knew about TMS, thinking that my body was so easily injured and broken. Like, I just had to go somewhere that I could take it really easy and the safest it could possibly be. I appreciate it. I didn't need it once I learned about TMS. I just said, I'm gonna go out my front door and run on pavement because there's nothing wrong with me. So I'm gonna take a moment here off camera because I'm probably gonna cry. Yep, okay, there they come. I just said my thanks. Some amazing things happened here. Thank you, but I don't need you anymore. I don't need you anymore. But thank you for being a beautiful place and a safe place for me to gain back my confidence. This stretch of sidewalk leading up to that building over there used to be my nightmare that I would have to do 5 days a week. And it only felt fitting on this run to come here because I got 3 days left until I move, and I'll never do this again. And that's fine. That's fine. And I wanted to do it now that I've recovered and healed. And I couldn't even do this for like 6 weeks at all because I couldn't walk at all. And now I just ran up it at like a 7:10 average pace. And back then, I just never processed it. Like, I've never processed it. I've never processed this place in particular. I've only really just started to really, over the past couple of months, process everything that happened to me, the trauma of just one day not being able to walk. Because back then I didn't cry about it at all. I was terrified. I just stuffed it all in for the longest time. So I'm gonna go run around the building, a place that holds a lot of emotional charge. And I'm gonna do awesome, and I'm gonna do it symptom free, and I'm gonna say goodbye to this place. Okay, I made it around the building, but then I had to stop and stop again because, like, right here, this place, right by this tree, this spot, this little stretch of sidewalk, I have stood here so many times with so much pain, like in so many different places. And I didn't have that anymore. Finally, I didn't have that anymore. But for like a year and a half, it was just like whatever pain of the day, knees, ankles, toes, feet. This is where I struggled up with my surgical shoe after my foot surgery, which was like the icing on the cake for me to have my severe onset episode of TMS. So I like hate this place, and I'm gonna express it. If you have places like this, I really recommend that you go back to them and you feel your feelings. And I'm so glad that I finally had times that I could be here with no pain. So it didn't end certainly how it was like for a year and a half. This one's tough, man. This one's tough. I just had a really another big cry, and it's gonna happen again once I stop recording. I love the cemetery. It's a site of so much pain, but like so much joy, because like I truly recovered here. I truly recovered in this cemetery. This place was like every day that I could. Even in the winter with the snow, because they actually did like a way better job of maintaining this than my own neighborhood. So I relearned to walk here. I relearned how to run here, especially running on pavement. And I learned how to run in the snow here really well. I've never been so good at it, and now I don't need to be able to do that anymore, but I'm glad that ended on a high note because I was such a good snow runner. And this is, where the tree is, way back there, my favorite tree. I'll come back here before we leave, but today was like really feeling all the feels at the places that have carried a lot of pain for me, but also places that I've recovered in and had such progress and success. And here's the last place of trauma and the beginning of my recovery. This cul-de-sac. On May 15th, 2024, it was 5 days after I'd seen a sports medicine doctor who still didn't know what was going on with me. He wasn't a TMS doctor, obviously, but he knew enough to say, get out of that calf boot. There's nothing wrong with you. You are making yourself worse. Yeah, you are making yourself worse. Start walking. I didn't believe him. And I finally got up the courage to do it. And I walked once around this cul-de-sac. And it was so hard. And I did it a second time. And I could barely do it. And I just collapsed on the lawn here. It was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. Literally the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. Harder than marathons, childbirth, anything. And it was such a scary and terrible time because I still didn't know what was wrong with me. And I didn't understand why I couldn't walk. And I thought I was going to be disabled for the rest of my life at 42 years old. And I didn't cry then, but you bet I'm crying now. You didn't get me a tissue. It's okay. I always run with them now. I literally always run with tissues now because I know that a lot of times I end up crying, or, at least it helps wipe the sweat out of my eyes. But it felt so good. It felt so good. I really hope that you can think of those places for yourself where the symptoms always come, even if they don't come anymore. The places that can still bring back those memories and all the fear and the trauma they hold. I know, those places suck and you don't want to go because they might still be triggering. They are probably still triggering. But that's kind of the point. I know you don't want to cry or have a panic attack or feel bad or be triggered or have a flare. But you gotta work to try to expose yourself to it and help move through the emotions and build new memories at these places. Being in that actual physical place is just so powerful. Sure, you can process your feelings and your trauma at home, but being in the actual physical place, it's so powerful, the energy. I know, it sounds all new agey, but it's totally true. The physical place is so powerful to deeply process that trauma, let those emotions come out, and start to rewrite your story about yourself and that place and your symptoms. You can feel good in that place. And if you don't think you can feel good, I am sure you can at least feel okay. And that's a really important start. You don't have to move to another state to give this a try. I knew because I had that deadline coming up, I needed to do this. I needed to go to those places and do my thing because it was my only opportunity to do so. And I knew I would regret it if I didn't because I knew it would help. And I know it can help you. Quick bonus place for those of you who stuck around to the end. My last Kroger trip, just getting a couple snacks for the way down, and I'll never have to see you again, Kroger. Bye, bye. This one, no gratitude, no gratitude. I am gonna be perfectly happy the rest of my life and never coming back to this Kroger again. I already have the earbuds in because I don't want to deal with it. I just go, get my zone, get my snacks, get out. Peace. I did it. Never again.